Hey guys! Yep, I was going to say, can you hear me? I can turn this countdown off. I'm live. We're live. 45 seconds early. How brilliant are we? Jason's smashing the like button before he even heads, before he's even decided if I'm worthwhile of his like tonight. Jason, superstar, how are you? Good evening. I was working on some of these. I was going to call them Sanginary Guard. My head must be frazzled. I'm working on some Death Company tonight, and I wanted to get to a point of edge highlighting very, very soon. So, these guys here are. This is the last of 4. I've got 4 that I'm working on. Once this guy gets a tiny few corrections and stuff, I can get on to edge highlighting. So, hopefully, I'm going to get there very soon tonight. That's the goal. So if you are hobbying tonight, let me know in the chat. Thanks everyone who's people will be filtering into the chat. Good evening, Dark Ginger. Good evening, Highland Phoenix. How are you? Cool. I'm going to pick a color. Pick a color, make a start. Just putting a few different paints onto my paint pad here. I'm going to need Lead Belcher, I'm going to need black, I'm going to need Dawnstone, I'm going to need Retributor Gold, I'm probably going to need some more Screamer Pink, probably going to need Evil Sun, no, not Evil Sun, Mephiston Red, maybe Ushati Bone, maybe that'll be enough to basically. I don't know if I'm trying to get these guys totally finished, I'm trying to get them to the point where I would edge highlight them. 2 painting streams in a row. Oh, you mean me? 2 nights in a row? Yeah, good evening. Nathan's paintings, Blade Guard, so much gold trim. Yeah, the only reason I'm 2 nights in a row is because I didn't play last night. A live game, and I want to be ready for 10th edition. I've said that a million times. Michael's building a Storm Speeder. It's probably a good call. The Storm Speeder looks like it's got a lot better for 10th edition, right? It's one of the models that I think has, I was going to say has one pretty big. I think it has one because it's what's it got? It's got like more toughness, more wounds, and an objective control value of 3, which I think is pretty good. Jordan's got painting the new Dante. Dude, I'm jealous. I still don't have my new Dante. It's kind of ridiculous. At this point, it's just going to be. I'm just going to be a surprise when Dante shows up. I don't think he shipped today either, because I didn't see an email saying he shipped. So, like, that's going to be another whole week with no Dante. A little bit annoying. Try not to let it bother me. As long as I get them in the next couple of weeks, so I can have them ready for the 10th edition launch, that's all that really matters. But if it goes like a couple more weeks and he's still not shipped, I'm going to be starting to worry, I guess. They must have had way too many orders for Dante. Because I ordered him pretty early. The day that I ordered him, the website was all crashing and everything, so it was like... I know I was one of the first people that got him, because a lot of people were, like, when I'd been on, like, way before the pre-order opened, because me and my wife were going out with the kids that morning. I was kind of holding the whole family up, waiting for the pre-order to open, so I was there, like, the second it opened, and I was honestly, like, I got it pre-ordered very quickly, like 10 past 10, a lot of people were still struggling with the website at 10 past 10, and I headed out the door, so I was feeling pretty confident. I was like, yes, I've got it ordered nice and early, I will not have to wait too long for it. And then I buggered off, and it seems like apparently it wasn't early at all. But it happens. It happens. Did we all get Element Games emails today? Did you get one? Are you getting your Dante, Highland Phoenix? Robert's working on an Impulsor. Stuka's still trying to figure out if he wants to play his 30k vehicles and wolves. Imperial Fists. I mean, Blood Angels are going to be the best. Blood Angels are going to be best in 10th edition, right? So, I mean, just factor that in when you decide what you're painting. I mean, I have no idea if Blood Angels will be the best. I hope that Blood Angels will be the best. You finished your Crimson Paladins yet, Highland Phoenix? But yeah, my weekend streams are going to be different this weekend. I haven't quite figured out what they're going to be, but I'll let you know. They're definitely going to be different. Good evening, Jim. How are you? You got an email saying that there's further unknown delays. Oh man. Oh man. Where are you guys getting these sheets? So what's the new Whirlwind looking like? Asked Dylan. What sheet's Dylan? I don't think we've seen a sheet for the Whirlwind, if that's what you're asking. Some of the data sheets for certain things have been on the Warhammer community website, but not a Whirlwind. I was going to say, we've seen sheets for like Terminators, Stern Guards, Captains, Dreadnoughts, Land Raiders, Repulsors, Storm Speeders. I've covered all this in my videos though, Dylan. I've done like 3 videos now. If you search Blood Angels Commander 10th edition, there's probably like an hour and a half of content you can watch on 10th edition on the channel already, covering what we know, because we're getting told snippets of information, so we don't know everything. And but yeah, I mean, I think I've done 3 videos now on 10th edition, maybe it's 4. Fingers crossed we get the new Dante soon. Yeah, hopefully it's not too long. It doesn't bother me. I've got someone from the channel actually offered to send me their Dante, and they would wait for my one, so I could have got him, I suppose, if I desperately wanted him, and I do want him, but if he doesn't turn up for a few weeks, I've got plenty that I'm trying to get finished for 10th edition anyway, and I think, like, regardless of when I get Dante, I'm probably going to knock him out in like 24 hours, right? Or I'm going to get him battle ready within 24 hours of getting him, so I've got no more tournaments to go to in 9th edition. The next tournament I'll be going to is a 10th edition tournament anyway, so if Dante doesn't come till the start of 10th edition, he'll be the first model I knock out, so I'm not overly worried that he's not here yet. It's a little bit annoying considering how early in the pre-order cycle I got him ordered. Like, you know, like I said, I definitely know I was one of the first people to get him ordered. But I guess the pre-orders for him must have been sort of unprecedented. I guess it's the same as the Lion, right? The Lion, there was a Lion and the Blade Guard that sold on eBay for $800. Like, that was a £65 set, and it sold for $800. So like, that's like 13 times retail value that sold at, which is just, well, one, it's insane, but two, it also, you know, it just shows how bad I think the problem with the scalpers can be if something can sell for it. Someone's so desperate to get the limited edition box of the Lion, they had to pay 13 times the retail price. So, you know, I guess the Lion really sold out badly. It's easily done though, because I've missed pre-order mornings before where I've I always put like reminders in my phone for things, because I'm generally... I think I had a good memory before I had kids, but ever since I had kids I've been scatterbrained. Hey Adrian. So I always put reminders in my phones for important things, and one morning I put a reminder on my phone for like 9:45 to get like the GW pre-orders that morning. I can't remember what it was. I think it was one of the limited edition books, because I've got a bit of a collection of some of those limited edition books now, so I was wanting to get one of the limited edition books. Put a reminder on my phone for 9:45. For whatever reason, like 99% of the time when I go downstairs of a morning, I have my phone with me. For this one time, randomly, like honestly it's completely random, because I would say like literally 99 times out of 100 I would have my phone when I go downstairs in the morning. This one time I guess I was carrying both the kids, I didn't have my phone with me, I sat with the kids and sort of had breakfast and stuff. Again, wasn't really caring about my phone because I was just having breakfast. Went back upstairs at like 10:15 and like my phone's going off and it's like, you know, alarm, alarm, it's pre-order morning. I was like, oh crap, how annoying. You know, like I just forgot about it this morning, and the alarm, I mean, I can't hear my alarm from the downstairs kitchen to the bedroom upstairs, right? It's not that loud, it's just like beep 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 beep. I was like, oh, I've missed the pre-order. So it's easily done to miss these pre-orders. Sleep deprivation, says Gav, my biggest Achilles heel. How are you, Gav? Are you excited about the Votann release today, or the Votann preview today? You seemed very positive about it. I was just glad that Votann's auto-wounding was gone, to be honest. Considering, I think a lot of people in the Votann forums or whatever are unhappy, so Gav's a really good Votann player. He seems happy with the changes. But again, we only know like 1 or 2 small changes in isolation, so it's kind of hard to make an informed decision. Because like people were asking me the other day, right, or even I think it was last night's stream, someone was like, "What's going to be the best Primaris vehicle in 10th edition?" And I was like, that's a good question, but the answer is I have no fucking idea what's going to be the best vehicle, because we haven't seen the data sheet for like we haven't seen the data sheet for like 20 of the vehicles, and the ones that we do see, we don't know points costs. So we can't, I don't think we can really make an informed decision on what the best vehicle is going to be just because we don't have enough data, right? And I think that's probably, I think people from every faction right now would do well to remember that, because it seemed like today that, yeah, that's what Gav's saying, it's kicking off in the Votann groups, like people are pissed. But like, you don't have all the data. So I guess just chill for now. When you have all the data, if you're still not happy, then be pissed, sure. But right now I don't think it's the right time to get pissed about rules changing. After seeing the Votann changes today, I really think that Blood Angels will not keep the Red Thirst. You know, like our ability that gives us +1 to wound. I don't think we're going to have that. I think we'll have another ability that makes us good in combat. I think it'll be something completely different. Just because it seems like this edition they are going back to the drawing board on all these rules and trying to balance them, maybe. So I might be completely wrong. I don't know. I have no inside information. I know nothing, but I don't think that we will have the Red Thirst. I really don't think it's going to stay in the same iteration that it is at the moment. I mean, if you think about it, like if you look at General Marines and think of like Doctrines, right? Doctrines are just completely different now. So that's what I think is going to happen to the Red Thirst. I think it's just going to be completely different. Like, I think it'll still be a melee-based ability because we are sort of a melee-based chapter, right? But I think it'll be completely different. Votann forums look rough, especially compared to the Sisters changes seen so far. Yeah, but you're only seeing small changes in isolation again. I think that's important to remember, and I think a lot of people see like their favorite unit change, or they see like their favorite mechanic change, and then they can just throw their toys out the pram, I guess, instantly, without the big picture, or without knowing all that much, I guess. Hey, but I mean, Blood Angels aren't getting a faction preview, so we won't have to worry about throwing our toys out the pram. We'll just find out when the rulebook comes out, right? A little bit sad. They said like they said it was going to be too much to do a preview for like Blood Angels and Ultramarines or Blood Angels and Space Wolves, and then like and then it was like up next World Eaters. I was like, hold on, aren't World Eaters a faction? Like, aren't they kind of a chapter, right? Like, it's not like faction focused Khorne. It's faction focused World Eaters. They're a chapter Marines just like Blood Angels. Why are we not getting there? How long does it normally take the units from the box to be available separately? That's a tough question, because sometimes it takes ages, and sometimes shit from the box never becomes available separately. There's a couple of things right now that are not available separately from like Indomitus box. That would be the Judiciar and the Blade Guard Ancient. Like, they're just flat out not available separately. And the Indomitus box was 3 years old now, right? Well, let me turn off Discord because I don't want all those pings going off while we stream. And then if you go to the further back to the Shadow Spear box, which was the box halfway through 8th edition that had suppressors in it, well, suppressors are still not available separately. I mean, arguably suppressors aren't that good, so it's not a huge issue. The suppressors might get better in 10th edition, I suppose. They're not still available separately, so like, that's the difficult part of it. If you decide like, hey, I do want something from the starter box, but I'm gonna wait until it becomes... I think the better idea would be, if you want something from the starter box, but you don't want to have the expense of the starter box, get onto eBay like week 1, because a lot of people will be buying starter boxes and selling things. And that, yes, you won't get like transfers, or you won't get a box, or you might have to download the instructions for the stuff, because, or you might get like a photocopy of the instructions from eBay, but I think that's your best bet. Because otherwise you could just be waiting an unknown amount of time, right? Points costs have a lot to say about things. Yeah, I mean, points cost, like, we are all looking at Land Raiders going, shit, Land Raiders are going to be awesome, but if Land Raiders are 350 points, they're not going to be that awesome, right? Because Chaos is cooler than the Imperium, says DTM. DTM. I thought we were friends. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like you hanging out in the streams, DTM, but I mean, you know, we cut you a little bit of slack because you're a Thousand Suns player, but I mean, I don't... If they do a faction preview for Thousand Suns, then we'll riot as Blood Angels, because we're like, they're not getting to do World Eaters and Thousand Suns and not Blood Angels. Like, what the hell is this? Riot! Do you think tactical squads will still be in the Marine Index? They said that things that they are most likely to Legends do not have boxes anymore. I believe you can still buy a tactical squad, so unless something changes in the next couple of weeks, I think a tactical squad is probably still going to be an option to play, buy, and make. I just don't know if I think tactical squads are that competitive, because I have a funny feeling like we saw Chaos Bolters, right? So a Chaos Bolter is strength 4, 24 inches, strength 0 AP, 1 damage weapon, right? Like, it's the same as the Bolter was before, however it gets 2 shots now. And I think it loses rapid fire. So basically, it's just 2 shots at 24 inches, strength 4, no AP. Well, we saw bolt rifles, and bolt rifles got made both heavy and assault. So the bolt rifle is just, I guess, superior in terms of like flexibility. You've got more range, you've got more damage, you've got more AP, you potentially have more chance to hit, you can advance and shoot it. So like the bolt rifle is just way more versatile now than a standard bolter. So I mean, if you want to run a tactical squad, I think you'll probably be able to, but my question is like, why? Like, what's good about a tactical squad? They can take a missile launcher? Well, I mean, I'd be very surprised if the old tactical squad's missile launcher got updated to like the new, you know, like it'll just be a default missile launcher. It's not going to be like a super crack missile launcher or something that the Primarises can get, right? I mean, I guess maybe you can take a multi-melta, but then multi-melta's got much shorter range now, so yeah, I mean, I just don't know if I think you'll probably be able to field the tactical squad. I just don't know why you would want to. Mr. Snakecake says Blood Angels will get a preview for sure. They actually replied on the Warhammer, like there was a screenshot of them replying on Facebook, Mr. Snakecake, saying that it would be too much to preview all the chapters, because someone asked specifically, I think it was about Blood Angels and Space Wolves, and they basically said no, they're not going to get a preview. I was a little bit disappointed about that. I mean, it's just a one-page article. Like, I'm sure they could have managed to give us a preview, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, like, the new edition will be here before you know it, right? So they better not get rid of Tactical Marines, and I hope they're good this time. Well, I mean, I'll tell you right now, Jim, they're not going to be good. That's what I'm saying to you. They've made the bolt rifle better, because they want people to move over to Primaris Marines. Maybe they'll do the only way I can see the Tactical Marines ever being good is if they do like a true scale version of Tactical Marines, same as like if they do a true scale version of those new Terminators. Same in a way as like we maybe want like a true scale version of Vanguard Vets or Sanginary Guard. Like if they don't do a true scale version of them, they're not gonna have the greatest rules. I think that's just what we have to accept. That's how the game's rolling, or that's how things are rolling. They might be average. Like, Tactical Marines might be average. I just don't think they're ever going to be like, oh my god, there's going to be no rush to rush out and buy tactical squads. I'd be willing to bet quite a lot of money on that. Las cannons are pretty good now. Well, the new las cannons that we've seen, like the Godhammer las cannon on the Land Raider and the Ballistus las cannon on the Ballistus Dreadnought, are pretty good, but I would bet the tactical squad is going to be running a vanilla las cannon. It's not going to have a special prefix / keyword, and it's going to have vanilla rules. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't. I mean, I'd be happily surprised if it doesn't, but I think that's probably what's going to happen. The old bolter isn't much better than a lasgun now. I mean, they basically made it constant rapid fire, right? Because it can always shoot 2 times 24 inches. Multi-Las says, what's your honest estimate for updated Sanginary Guard models, if ever? Should I buy a pack? Should I wait? Maybe the new meta won't need as much of them. I think Sanginary Guard are always going to be good for Blood Angels, right? Like, and I think there's always probably going to be a case where you would want to run somewhere between 10 and 15 or even as many as 20 of them. Like, that's probably always going to be, there's always going to be someone arguing that. It's always going to be a potential. I don't know if we necessarily need Primaris Sanginary Guard in terms of, like, rules. Like, I think we just need true scale Sanginary Guard, same as the Terminators are getting true scale models. I think Sanginary Guard are strong. I think the rules are fine. I know people have said they want like 3 wound Sanginary Guard, but I mean, if they make them 3 wounds, they're going to have to cost them for 3 wound models, right? So, we know Games Workshop like to cost Sanginary Guard really friggin' high because they were like 32 points per model. They're like, Terminators and Arcs of Omen are like 33 points per model, and Sanginary Guard were 1 point less. No invulnerable save and 1 less wound. I mean, that's quite, and I guess now even 1 less toughness than Terminators. But yeah, I bought some Sanginary Guard like maybe 3 months ago, and I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, what if they release Primaris Sanginary Guard? Like, is this a stupid option? But I just wanted them, and I'm hoping that if they do put new Sanginary Guard, maybe I can just rebase my current ones onto bigger bases. rather than rush out and have to buy like 30 new Sanginary Guard. I would assume that if they're on the right size base, I did not see any leaks. If there's been some leaks today, Robert, I was at the office all day, and then I've come home and it's been kids' bath night, so I haven't seen any leaks. But yeah, so my thought with the Sanginary Guard was like, I took the plunge and just bought some. The other part of your question, when do you think we'll see Primaris Sanginary Guard, or when do you think we'll see new Sanginary Guard? I think if we're going to see new ones, it's going to be with the Blood Angels refresh, right? Because there's been like rumors for a while that Blood Angels might be getting a refresh. If Blood Angels get a refresh, it's either going to be, I would say it's either going to be like next year with our Codex. Assuming we get our Codex next year, I don't think they've actually said when we're getting our Codex. But I would assume it's either next year with the Codex, or it's going to be next edition, right? So like, you're talking maybe a year, maybe 18 months to get a Codex, maybe there's a refresh. But even if there is a refresh, I kind of like the precedent they've set with these Terminators, right? Like, I like the fact that they've said like, hey, here's some really cool looking new Terminators, but all your current Stormbolter slash Power Fist Terminators are still valid. You can still run all them. They're on the same size bases. Just these new guys look much cooler. Because for me, there's two wins there, right? Like, because people, the wins are people get to use their existing models. People also aren't pissed that their existing models are essentially like legends or useless. And then people like the look of the new models and go like, well, you know, I do need a new Terminator squad, so I'll buy the new ones, and slowly over time I can move all my Terminators onto the new style. And eventually, I guess people will just have all their Terminators on the new style, right? So that's what I hope they do for, like, I'd prefer if they did that for Sanginary Guard. Like, give us a cool-ass looking new Sanginary Guard kit, but don't necessarily say we need to run out and buy 30 new ones. That's what I'm hoping. If they're on bigger bases, then I guess I can rebase my current ones, right? How much chance have these new leaks got of being bullshit? Is the question, right? There's photos of the current Sanginary Guard on the new Dante box. There is. So does that just mean that if there is new Sanginary Guard, they're a long way away, maybe? I was looking today after, like someone said on the stream last night, I can buy a washing machine, a children's washing machine, to mix my paints. And I can just throw the paint tub into the children's washing machine, and it's a lot cheaper than buying like a vortex mixer. So I was looking on Amazon today for children's washing machines. Has anyone actually done that? I think it could actually make a pretty funny video, actually, if I was like, couldn't afford a vortex mixer, so I bought a children's washing... A Fisher Price? Is that the name of the children's brand? Fisher Price washing machine to mix my paints. Hello, Morgo, how are you? How's Shatterpoint going, Morgo? I'm so jealous. I haven't actually seen any of the Shatterpoint models in the flesh yet, but I'm jealous that some of you guys have got Shatterpoint and are painting it. It's Auspex thinks the leaks are legit. Okay, I mean, it seems a bit crazy at the moment. Games Workshop are just leaking everything, are they? I mean, there must be somebody inside Games Workshop that's there's a secret mole in that company, or there's a friggin' webcam. I don't know who's getting the leaks, but it seems like they can't get anything out with it without being leaked at the moment, right? I use a Green Stuff World paint mixer. It's $15. Can you link it to me in Discord? Because I would like to get a painting mixer, but I really don't want to spend $100 on a vortex mixer. there's a lot of models that I'm probably going to end up buying for 10th edition, right? So I'd rather keep my costs on hobby supplies at a minimum so I can buy more models. Yeah, seeing how Sanginary Guard armor is generally over 10,000 years old, they'll just modify the armor to fit Primaris. I mean, Terminator armor is kind of the same thing, because if you think about in the lore, there was a while there where it was like every time a Terminator died, they took the armor off of him, right? Because like they couldn't, after the Horus Heresy, they weren't able to make more sets of Terminator armor. Like the Terminator armors were finite. There was like 100 per chapter, and that was it. Like they couldn't make more Terminator armor. I'm sure that's going back in the lore many years now. I would not trust a GW paint pot in a washing machine. It's a children's washing machine, right? Like it's a washing machine that would sit on your table. Like it's the size of like a couple of cans of beer, right? So you would put it in the children's washing machine and you just watch it like get thrown about inside the children's washing machine. I mean, I might just do it because I might just buy a children's washing machine because it make a funny video. But you wouldn't trust. Good to know that you wouldn't trust the pot inside. I'd be willing to give it a try. Could be messy, I guess. They could make more Terminator armor. It'd just be really costly. Okay, I thought that there was a reason that there was no more Terminators at one point. Like this is going back to the 90s. Like in the 2nd edition codex or something, there was like a paragraph where it was like they can't make more Terminator armor because. Well, probably just because reasons, honestly. Someone's going to tell me. Yes, Terminator armor takes hundreds of years and enough money to build a city. Okay. So yeah, they kind of can't make Terminator armor, I guess. The Crux Terminatus is the thing that sits on their shoulder pad, Bauer. And it's like the... Well, it's hard to explain what a Crux Terminatus is, but what it looks like, but it's the thing that sits on their shoulder pad, and it does indeed have like a shard of the Emperor's armor in it. And that's why... That's the part of it, lore-wise, that's apparently supposed to give them the invulnerable save, I believe. They have like a tiny fragment of the Emperor's armor in their Crux Terminatus that sits on their shoulder pad. Good evening, Trivial Pursuit. How are you doing? A lot of technology was supposed to be lost after the Horus Heresy. Yes, that was like, I guess that was like a cop out when they were designing the rules in the books in the early 90s, when they didn't want to have to explain something too much. They just would say like, okay, that was lost in the Horus Heresy. Evening, man. How you doing? The new sprue arms look surprisingly maneuverable. Here's the question that I have about the new sprue arms to Robert is like, I assume, because they never said so, so I'm assuming the worst because they never said so. I assume current Terminator shoulder pads will not fit the new sprue arms. Which I think is... Because like, you know, current shoulder pads do fit Primaris bodies. Like Firstborn shoulder pads fit Primaris models. I don't know how they managed to do that actually, but it was nice that they did that. But they never mentioned if the new Terminators will will fit. Some people think it will fit. Okay. I was kind of living under the impression that I think that they wouldn't fit. And we'd have to work out, like if we want to do custom shoulder pads, we'd have to figure something out, I guess. They showed off the new sprues in an article today. It's the old-fashioned pin slot design. It won't be the final design for the Terminators, just the 10th edition box. Really? I didn't see any new sprues shared today. Like I said, I guess I saw the Votan rules, but I didn't see any other community article today. I guess I got to check that one out. Well, I just finished 10 aggressors. I've got to varnish them, but I think I'm going to get Hellblasters and Heavy Intercessors finished and ready to varnish. I mean, it is good to varnish a lot of stuff at the same time. 10 aggressors? How come 10? What are you going to use 10 aggressors for? I have 6 aggressors, and I kind of thought that I was like the minority in Blood Angels, because not many Blood Angels players I know have a lot of aggressors. We occasionally see 3 in a list, but we don't usually see many more than that. You have a set of Forge World Terminator shoulders ready? That's awesome. I loved those old Forge World Terminator shoulders. I bought a couple of sets of them before they went I guess the way of the dinosaur. If they ever come back on made to order, I'm going to buy some more. Well, I suppose I'll buy some more if it means that they will fit the new Terminators. If they're not going to fit the new Terminators, I'm not going to buy more, but if they fit, I'm going to buy some. I love those. I love the Forge World Blood Angels Terminator shoulder pads. If you've never seen them, they're just quite beefy shoulders, I guess. And they've got... It's funny because it's like the old shoulder pads are just generally much better than the shoulder pads we got for like the Primaris shoulder pad options that we have. Like the Primaris upgrade sprue is just sort of generally bad, I guess. Like it doesn't have a lot of it doesn't have a lot of customization / options on it. Whereas like the Firstborn upgrade sprue is just like way better. Of course, yeah, I knew that the push fit shoulders were going to have to be cut off, which is a pain in the arse. I've done it. I did it with my Blade Guard. Well, I did it with like... I don't think I did it with all the Indomitus Blade Guard, but I did it with a few of the Indomitus Blade Guard, and it is a real pain to have to snip / you basically have to brutalize the shoulder pads, don't you? To get rid of like the current shoulder. And then you need like a nail file, you want to file it all down, and then you've got to get the new shoulder on top. It's not the worst job, but if you're doing it to like a lot of models, it is a bit of a pain in the arse. It's probably like realistically like quite a small win. Like you're not getting a giant change in the model by changing out the shoulder pad. You're getting a bit of a change. The new Flamer Marines are met. I think the Flamer Marines are the one unit that I'm probably going to just try and sell. Like, I don't think I need 10 guys with Flamers. I think if I'm Blood Angels and I want to run Flamers, you can do Hand Flamers and Death Company. You can do Aggressors with Flamers. You can do Centurions with Flamers. I don't see a need for me to have... Like, I almost don't see a need to keep any of the Infernus Squad guys. I might keep one set, just so I've got one set. But, yeah, the Infernus Squad to me are the ones that stand out as the worst of the lot. They're obviously just not made for our chapter. They're for other chapters. That's fine. It's a starter edition box. That's always... There's always going to be a bit of that, right? The thing about the Primaris upgrade sprue is I think you just don't... Well, the Black Templar's got a good upgrade sprue. Like, the Black Templar's got a giant Primaris upgrade sprue. I don't even really know about it. It's like $25 and it's got like... It's got a lot on it. Like, the Black Templar's Primaris upgrade sprue is probably, in my opinion, kind of the only decent Primaris upgrade sprue. Because I think for like Blood Angels, you're better off just buying the Firstborn upgrade sprue. You get more different shoulder pads, you get more different helmets. Yeah, I suppose you get a couple of weapons you can't really use with Primaris, but I don't think it matters. I think you're just better buying the Firstborn one and using what you can use. The upgrade sprue is so expensive. Yeah, I mean, the upgrade sprues are generally expensive. There's not much we can do about that, that's just the cost of them. Devastator Centurions as fire support. I don't know, man. I suppose it's a good question. Like, Devastator Centurions were a weird one because they didn't have core last edition. That really hurt them. Like, they got played a lot more in 8th edition when they had... I mean, I guess core didn't exist in 8th edition. So they got a lot more play before the core requirements came out. And I think they got a lot more play in Ultramarines, because I played Colin's Ultramarines a bunch of times when he had Centurions with like las cannons and heavy bolters, I think it was. Will we see like a serious amount of Devastator Centurions? I don't know if we will. But it does sound like they'll probably be stronger / better than they were. Simply because the core doesn't exist anymore. I suppose it depends if is there a unit that can join them? Like, can they be joined by a captain? Can they be joined by a lieutenant? Can they get rerolls? I suppose, I mean, there's just too much we don't know, right? Maybe. Does anyone think the 2 new Dreadnoughts got mixed up? I.e. the Brutalis should be in the 10th edition box. I was going to say, the Brutalis does seem like it would be a very good Dreadnought to have in a fight against like lots of melee nasty Nids, right? Where it's just like you could just rip them apart with its claws. Unfortunately, it's in the Augustus box, and there's no way to buy a Brutalis on its own at the moment. So if you want a Brutalis, you're buying the Augustus box. I don't even think the Augustus box is in stock anymore. I bought one Augustus box, but I would have probably liked two Brutalises, but it's hard to justify, especially when I didn't want any more heavy intercessors. Is there a lieutenant in that Augustus box? I think there's a lieutenant that's got a power fist and a plasma pistol. I already got lieutenant. I got the Games Day captain a few years back, or I think it was the store anniversary captain, actually, not Games Day. And the store anniversary captain had a power fist and a plasma pistol. So I already got basically that character. Just a different sculpt, really. Tor is gone, and they will benefit from Oath of Moment, so you wouldn't rule them out? Well, what do I think of the Shooting Dreadnought? Is it worth it? I don't hate the Shooting Dreadnought. I'm going to end up with two of them because I'm going to buy the new box, and I know that Miles is wanting all the Tyranids from the new box, so he's going to be willing to trade me. He's going to basically give me a second set of Marines, so I'm going to have two of those new Dreadnoughts. Assuming I can get the box and there's not like giant stock problems with the box. I don't think it's bad. I don't know if I think it's good either. Both its weapons are D6 damage, which I generally dislike, but it seems like more weapons, or maybe are less weapons going to be D3 plus 3 and more is going to be D6 plus 1. That sort of seems to be what I'm feeling is happening. So, I mean, I'll make them. They're probably going to be one of the first things I make out of the 10th. I keep wanting to call it 9th, I don't know why. Probably going to be one of the first things I make out of the new box. Whether or not I end up rushing to play with them, I guess, is the $1 million question, right? Full rerolls to hit and wounds against one unit every turn with Devastator. Well, I mean, yeah, full rerolls to hit with anything and wounds is kind of broken. We've seen units that have full rerolls to hit and wound before. I used to play Sisters of Battle a lot, and when they have full hits to when they used to have a small squad of Zephyrim, like 5 guys, full rerolls to hit, full rerolls to wound, you just kill everything. Like, even if you only hit on a 4-up, like Repentia do for Sisters of Battle. Actually, I think there's a way Repentia can hit on a 3-up. But anyway, even if you only hit on a 4-up, if you have full rerolls to hit, then you have a 75% chance to hit. So if you have 3-up, then you have like a 88% chance to hit. So in some ways that's weird though, right? Because it's like they've given that new Shooty Dread an ability that really doesn't combo with Oath of Moment at all. In fact, if you put Oath of Moment on the target that you need to kill with the Dreads, then the Dreads actually kind of lose one of their abilities when they're shooting at it. I don't know, we'll have to see where the Brutalis and the Redemptors shake out. Because I don't think Redemptors are going to be worthless. If anything, Redemptors are possibly the most versatile, right? Because they have like guns that will kill like heavy infantry, guns that will potentially kill armor. If a las cannon was strength 9 before, what do we think and it's now strength 12. At least some of the las cannons are. The las cannons on the big vehicles, you know, the Land Raiders las cannons become like a heavy god hammer. The one in the ballistas is like a ballistas las cannon. What do we think they're going to do with like the macro plasma on repulsors and redemptors? Like if their macro plasma is going to be like strength 12 on high power, then maybe there's something to be said about redemptors could be quite good, right? I think it's going to all this depend on what sort of profile that macro plasma gets. I assume it's still going to have 2 or 3 damage, but you never know, they could make it 3 or 4, you know? Macroplasma is strength 9 at the moment, GTM. So I would assume it's going up at least 1, right? Well, 9 on high power at the moment, 8 on low power. And at the moment, I think it's -3? It might be -4, actually. -3 or -4? Basically, it just pushes everything onto their vulnerable saves. I think there will be strength 10 on the overcharge. Yeah, I mean, maybe. So if it gets strength 10 on the overcharge, does it mean that that the Redemptor will be pretty useful? I don't know. It's quite a hard thing to. It comes back to the same thing that we've been talking about, where it's like there's so many unknowns, and we're trying to guess what's going to be good, but we just have too many unknowns, I guess. It's -4 at the moment, so probably go down to -3, maybe -2. I think it will still have pretty decent strength. I'd be surprised if it doesn't go up in strength, actually, because it's like the macro version is only on the Redemptor. Like nothing else carries that version of it except a Redemptor and Executioner, and they're both supposed to be very like heavy anti-tank weaponry. Like I think. I feel like the Repulsor Executioner is generally classed as anti-tank. They will pop transports like rhinos, but they'll be difficult against other things. Yeah, I mean, it'll have to pop a rhino, it needs to be more than strength 9, though, right? Because the rhino is now toughness 9. So realistically, to do well against a rhino, you need more than strength 9, I think, now. I wonder if we're gonna see like armies just lining up with like 4 rhinos. I suppose it depends on the points cost of a rhino. Yeah, maybe. I don't think I played much in 5th edition Highland. I think I have the 5th edition. Was 5th edition Assault and Black Reach? Because I have Assault and Black Reach. I definitely bought that. But I don't know if I played much of. I feel like I bought it and rarely played it, or very barely played it, very infrequently played it, something like that. Black Reach was 5th. Okay, so I was playing Warhammer in 5th, just not much. And my break must have been towards the middle end of 5th edition, and then into 6th and 7th edition. I didn't play at all in 6th and 7th edition. Reminder, guys, tomorrow is the day for entering the painting competition. So if you're still working on an entry for the painting competition, you want to get it entered, you have to submit it by tomorrow night. It seems like most strength 8 went to strength 9. Yeah, I mean, I don't think plasma typically has moved, though. That's what they kind of called out plasma specifically as potentially not moving, because they said you won't be able to kill vehicles with plasma. But I think they mean like intercessors and potentially hellblasters, maybe like tau plasma as well. So it really does depend on what they do with the macro plasma cannon. I mean, it's a giant plasma cannon. It's like dwarfs all the other ones. So they might be nice to the macro plasma cannon and make it good. If they don't, I'll be really sad because I'll have 3 Redemptors that are going to sit on the shelf for a whole edition. But I've had other models that have sitted on a shelf for a whole edition. Atlas, it sadly isn't a time to finish his entry. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. There's always next year. I suppose that goes for anyone that doesn't win as well, right? There's always next year. University is definitely more important. So do your university work, dude. Someone was talking about heavy bolters being better. I don't think... Have we seen the profile sheet for heavy bolter? Or the data sheet for heavy bolter? I don't know if we have. If we have, I'm blanking it. I don't think we've seen anyone that carries a heavy bolter. 3 attacks, strength 5 -1, 2d. What sustained hits? What does sustained hits mean? When you roll a 6, you get an extra hit? I'm gonna need a data sheet that just tells me all the universal special rules. I assume that we're gonna get that. It's going to be nice once we've played a few games, though, when we start to remember what the universal special rules is, because I think as much as I keep talking about them, until I actually play with them and be like, oh yeah, devastating wounds. We've been over devastating wounds a bunch now, so I do remember that one. But I think once I start playing, it'll help me remember a lot of the other ones. Oh, but anyway. Exploding 6s to hit. Yes, okay. So the heavy bolter is a little better. I don't think it's anything like to write home about, though. It's not going to be like, oh well, we want loads of heavy bolters. It's just going to be, you're going to get one every time you fire a heavy bolter. It's going to be a 50-50 chance if you get one more shot by the law of averages, I guess. So if a heavy bolter normally shoots 3 times and a 50-50 chance you get one more shot, then essentially a heavy bolter is what, like 16% better? So it's something, but yeah, it doesn't change much how I feel about heavy bolter, I guess. I feel like it's average. Sometimes it will kill some marines or 2-wound models, but overall it's nothing too... I suppose because it kept its point of AP, it might be not too bad because a lot of other things lost AP. Yeah, I don't think a heavy bolter is overly exciting. I'm thinking with a lesser focus on the Primaris keyword, why change the Ball Predator kit? There's nothing to gain. Well, I mean, that's just the thing. They don't... All the vehicles, there's no reason that any of those vehicles need to be discontinued now if they're losing all the Primaris nonsense. The only reason to discontinue Space Marine vehicles would be like if they're not selling or if they're pointless in the meta or something like that. Like Stalkers and Hunters, you know, never get played ever, barely ever, maybe. So I could understand them, but like Predators or Ball Predators, if those things can come back into the meta because people think Predators are useful again, then I think that's cool, and I think I think you're kind of right. Exploding Sixless is basically +1 to hit, so it's going from 3s to 2s. Oh yeah, I suppose when you think about it that way, it is just +1 to hit. But hold on, so it's a heavy bolter though, so if it stays still, it will hit on 2s as well, Highly Infinite. Sorry, DTM, right? Because heavy weapons now get... Or is it infantry that are holding heavy weapons? Oh... There's too many rules which I've read once now. I just need the rulebook for the new edition. I need the rulebook. Games Workshop, I'm waiting. Send me the rulebook. I'll be positive about it, I promise you. I'll make a really nice video. Thank you loads for sending me the rulebook early. Send me the rulebook. The heavy bolter tends to be cheap points wise. Yeah, I mean it's been cheap points wise for a while, hasn't it? All heavy get +1 to hit if stationary. Thank you. And I was going to say, do vehicles have a rule that lets them count as stationary? They will remove Martial Legacy. You don't get any command points now, Nathan, before the game starts. So if Martial Legacy stays, there's going to be no way to include those vehicles. So they're gonna 100% gonna have to remove Martial Legacy, I think. I guess they could maybe put something else in there that limits how many Forge Road units you could take, but I think in terms of them costing CP to include, it'll have to be gone. Like it'll just have to be gone because you're not gonna have any CP before the battle starts. So how are you gonna pay the CP? You can't. I'm assuming Marine Heavy Bolters would be Ballistic Skill 4 up. And Heavy Bolters... Yeah, I mean, maybe. Maybe that's why people think they're going to be good. Maybe they're going to stay as BS3 plus for Marines and then you can get them BS2 plus. I mean, they did say Marines were going to be an elite army, whatever quite that means, I guess, or whatever that quite means. Is the Derodeo a better option than Ballistus if Martial Legacy goes out? Well, I mean, that's the question. That's the $1,000,000 question, especially with Relic Contemptors, right? Because if you think of a Relic Contemptor with 2 twin-link las cannons and a Cyclone Missile Launcher, it's basically the same. It's basically the same profile as the Ballistus, right? Like, well. It's the same weapon options, basically. Like, one's got a Cyclone Missile Launcher, the other's got a Ballistus Missile Launcher, one's got Ballistus Las Cannon, the other one's got, like, 2 twin-link Las Cannons. Like, the Ballistus, in a way, is basically the Relic Contemptor with double Las and the Cyclone, which was really popular, by the way. Like, in 8th edition, everybody ran Relic Contemptor Dreadnoughts with double las cannons and Cyclone Missile Launchers. Like, because I guess in 8th edition they hit on 2s. And I don't know if you remember this, some people will remember, some people won't. I guess it depends if you played 8th much. But if you played 8th a lot, you'll remember that Relic Contemptor Dreadnoughts in 8th edition also had a 6-up Feel No Pain. Same as the same as the Custodes Relic, same as the Custodes Contemptors. So they had a better ballistic skill, they had a 6-up Feel No Pain, and they were really effective with double las cannons and Cyclone Missile Launchers. That was like what everybody wanted them. Chain fists you think are going to be useful. 20 Thunderhammer Terminators doesn't kill a rhino. Does it not, really? Remember, 6s are going to do 2 mortal wounds, Menno. Are you sure? I mean, you might be accurate. You might be right here. I guess Thunderhammers aren't going to be... I mean, maybe it's an... Here's me finishing painting my Thunderhammer, guys. Maybe this is going to be the time where it's like, oh, congrats on finishing your Thunderhammer, guys. You're not going to use them for a little while. Oh well, I want these guys finished. They've been lingering far too long. I ran these guys to like 3 tournaments. Not fully painted, so they've been lingering, so they're getting finished. Leviathan Dreadnoughts should be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think Dreadnoughts are going to... Someone said they thought Dreadnoughts were going to be weak, I think, on the stream last night. I think Dreadnoughts are going to be good. I think they're going to be solid. I think we might see some lists with lots of Dreadnoughts. How do you do the writing on the purity seals? Every time I try it, I fail. You can buy a pen, like a really fine pen to do writing on purity seals, or I mean, that's if I was going to do it, that's how I would do it. I don't write on purity seals. I'm sure there's going to be someone that's done tutorials on YouTube on how to do that, Daniel, but it's not me. My painting is not that good. I'm a battle-ready painter, so I'll leave painting the purity seals to somebody else. But if I was going to try and do it, I think 100% I would buy that pen. It's basically a pen that is a paintbrush, and the ink will flow into it. So, and it's super fine pointed. I forget what it's called. Tony had one. He reviewed it over on our podcast channel, I believe. The 3 grots. If you would put a comment on that, he'd probably be able to help you. Lunda, good evening. But yeah, I've seen some people that do insanely detailed purity seals, and like I just look at them and I'm like, yes, I cannot do that. I don't even try and write the names of my tanks and stuff. David coming in with 10 gifted subs. David, you just made my night, dude. What's happening? Thank you so much. I appreciate it, dude. I was saying before, I got loads of friggin' stuff to buy for 10th edition. This will literally go straight towards me getting the extra Blade Guard veterans or something that I was wanting to add. I really hope Blade Guard and the Land Raiders is going to be cool. My bot's going to blow up, giving everyone gifted subs. If you just got a gifted sub, then you can thank David, and you can also you can now join our members only Discord room. So you go into Discord and you link your YouTube account to Discord, and we've got a members only room. At the moment, the members only room, we're talking in there every day, I feel like. About 10th edition leaked. Well, not leaks, I guess. Reveals, new armies, questions. Is that your way to bed, love? Yeah. Good night. See you in the morning. Evening, David. What a way to enter the house. How you doing? Going to my first tournament in June. We'll be bringing 66 Space Wolf dudes. I'll be bringing a lot of Malta, Alunda. Because Space Wolves are really good right now. If you can bring up, obviously, a lot of free Malta guns. And I played a list. I played against Space Wolves at a tournament. I actually played them twice. If you know Brett from the channel, he is a friend who plays Space Wolves. Do you know what? I was actually going to try and get him on the channel because I don't think I've ever played Space Wolves on the channel. I did message him and said, hey, do you want to play on the channel sometime? And he voted me for Best Sportsman. He's a very cool guy, actually. I really like Stuart. So yeah, he had a really strong Space Wolf list with like, was it just tons of guys. and tons of Melta. I think the only reason maybe I beat him was because I'm just I feel like I'm a much more experienced player than Stuart. But he did really well, and you know, I think maybe on another day it could have been much. Well, do you know what? We played twice, and I think both games were actually quite close. Like I definitely didn't beat him significantly, but yeah, no, I'm gonna try and get Stuart on the channel. Probably I'll get him on the channel, and then he'll beat me on the channel, and then he'll be like when I beat Miles on the channel a few weeks ago, and I was like, God damn it, Miles, beat you on the channel, lose to you at the tournament. Probably be the same. Stuart probably beat me on my channel, and I'll beat him at the tournament. You don't have Meltas? Oh man, I was gonna say Space Wolves with a lot of Meltas is really good. COYI. What does that mean, Tezab? Good evening. Just finished watching the West Ham game. What was the score in the West Ham game, by the way? Are you a West Ham fan? Like, if you were a West Ham fan, I'll tell you something. You were playing AZ Alkmaar, right? Was that the game tonight? What was the West Ham score? Someone tell me. They went or they lose? I can check. I assume they beat Alkmaar. Surely they beat Alkmaar. Beat them 2-1 at home. Okay. Okay. So I'm a Dundee United fan, small Scottish team, and we played Alkmaar in the qualifying round of the Europa Cup, of the Conference League. We beat them at home, and then we got thrashed away. But I went to the home game, and it's the only time I've ever seen Dundee United win a home game in Europe. So in some ways I was actually kind of hoping that Alkmaar would win the Conference League, because then I am Arsenal for my England team. Yes, I'm allowed to have a Scottish team as well, right? I mean, my Scottish team literally have been in Europe once. Well, we didn't even get through the qualifying round. We got beat by Alkmaar. But I was there at Tannadice when we beat them 1-0. Plus, I mean, like, I've only ever been to one game for Arsenal in my entire life, because London is actually quite far away. Whereas, like, Dundee United, I've been to... I was going to say, how many times have I actually seen Dundee United? I've seen them a lot away as well. So, I was going to say, maybe in my life I've seen Dundee United, like... I don't think it's as high as 40 times. Maybe more than 30. Because I followed them on like a couple of cup runs. I've been to 2 cup finals. We won one and we lost one. One year actually, I saw Dundee United. Dundee United win the cup final 1-0 at Glasgow. Like, I was at the game in Glasgow. We won the cup final in 1-0. We took a taxi from Hampden Park into town, because the Scottish Cup final's at 3 o'clock and the English Cup final's at 5:30. So we got to the stadium. Sorry, we got to the pub maybe like 5:45. Like, the English Cup final had just kicked off, and that was the year that Arsenal were playing, like, I think it was Southampton, and they'd gone like 2-0 down in the first 10 minutes or something. So we walked in the door right after watching Dundee United win the cup final, and Arsenal were already 2-0 down 10 minutes into the English Cup final. And I was like, oh, you gotta be fucking joking me. I thought this was going to be the greatest day ever. And then, of course, Arsenal came back and won 3-2 because it's only Southampton, and that was... My first game of football was Aberdeen v Celtic back when Billy Dodds was at Aberdeen in like 1992. I used to live in Fraserburgh. Oh, no way. My first game of football ever was 1991, and it was Aberdeen against Hibernian because my dad was an Aberdeen fan. And it was 1-1, and we sat in the family stand in Pittodrie. I think it was my second ever game of football was Aberdeen against Dundee United. I think that was when I started supporting Dundee United at Pittodrie, and it was Duncan Ferguson. I don't know if you remember Big Dunk. Duncan Ferguson scored in the 8th minute winner for Dundee United, 1-0 against Aberdeen at Pittodrie. Man, I miss going to football with my dad, honestly. Big Dunk, yeah, he was brilliant for us. So yeah, I've supported both a Scot. I actually didn't start supporting Arsenal until the year I started supporting Arsenal was because we didn't. You gotta remember, television's a lot different back then, right? Do you remember, like, I don't even know if we got the FA Cup final until like the 90s here in Scotland. Like, I don't know if it was even on the television. One of the first times I watched the television was the cup final, and it was Arsenal against Sheffield Wednesday. I think it was Paul Merson scored, and that was sort of like, oh, okay. I don't know why I just picked Arsenal from that game, and I was like, I'm an Arsenal fan. And then like 2 weeks later, there was another cup final, and it was Arsenal Sheffield Wednesday again. And I was kind of confused. I was like, did we not just see that game? And we beat them 2-1 for the second time. Can't remember who scored in the second game, but I think maybe Ray Parlour? Was that before him? I don't know. Long time ago. But yeah, no, I support Dundee United in Scotland and Arsenal in England, and if I get opportunities to go to either, I will go to either. I'm actually, Dundee United are just about not being relegated this season. We've got Kilmarnock at home next Wednesday the 24th, so I think I'm not going to be here on Wednesday the 24th. I'm going to go to the Dundee United game, the last game of the season, where like if we lose, we get relegated. So that'll be a fun night. Anyway, enough football. Any 10th edition questions? David, thank you so much for the... it's a small world, it's so random. So you live in Scotland at the moment, David? One of my best friends is actually from Fraserburgh. Alright, this guy is like so close to being finished. It's time to do some edge highlighting, I think. Finally. Nathan just finished 4 Blade Guard shields. I hate painting detail with my stupid 10 Sonatus. Is it, like, I take it you're something wrong with your tendons? I'm not sure I say that, Nathan. Did you do the shields white, or did you do a different colour on the Blade Guard shields? Because I did them white, which was sort of like the box art. Excuse me. But I've seen some people do them red, which I thought was pretty cool. What colour did you go for, like, the back panels of the shields? We moved to England in 97. I live in Grimsby, which is basically the English version of Fraserburgh. Okay. I've heard of Grimsby, but I've never been. We have family in England, but it's weird. England is like, in a way, it's like, it's so close to Scotland, but I honestly just went through like a whole decade where I never went to England, and then I went twice in 1 year. So sometimes that's the way that goes. It's like, the thing that's on your doorstep is the thing that you don't do. But I'm going to take my kids back to England in like a year's time or something. I have a 2-year-old and she just loved Blackpool. So, I mean, it's tacky as all hell, but she loved it. So we're going to go back there. Levi. After seeing the faction showcases, what are you hoping to see for Bloody Angels 1?
Levi donated $5 via Super
Death
Chat.
Company.
Hi, after seeing the faction showcases, what are you hoping to see for the BA one? I am hoping they show us the DC data card and Mephiston.
I would love to see the DC data card and Mephiston, Levi. I would also love to see maybe Dante and Sanginary, but they did say on Warhammer Community, and I don't know if this is 100% right, they did say that the Blood Angels and Space Wolves are not getting a faction preview. Which is really, or they said something like they're not going to do a faction preview for every chapter. That's what they said. And then like yesterday, or today's article says tomorrow we're getting a World Eaters preview. And they're a chapter. Like World Eaters, it's not like World Eaters are a faction, they're a chapter. So why are World Eaters getting one and Blood Angels are not getting one? I think I think I said it earlier in the stream, Levi. I think the thing that's going to be the most interesting for Blood Angels is I don't think we're going to keep Red Thirst. I mean, we might keep the name as a rule. Like, we might still have a rule called the Red Thirst, but I don't think it's going to be +1 to wound. I don't think it's going to be +1 to charge. I think it's just going to be something completely different. They're going to have tried to rebalance it. Or they're going to have tried to rebalance Blood Angels because they've tried to rebalance other things. If you look at Gilliman, like, he doesn't look anything like he did in the last edition, right? If you look at, like, Votann, they really don't look anything like they did before. The Votann players are very upset, apparently. Sisters, they've kept Miracle Dice, but I noticed that one of the stratagems that St. Catherine had was, like, St. Catherine gave, like, Sisters within 6 inches a 6-up feel no pain? Or was it a 6-up? Was it a 6-up feel no pain? Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong with the Sisters one. I think I thought that Sisters used to have an innate 6-up feel no pain. No, they had an 8-6-up invuln, wasn't it? But they never mentioned that innate 6-up invuln either. If I'm correct. So I think like we're back at the drawing board. Like, we don't know what we're gonna get. Everything is potentially different. But I think we're gonna have to wait. I honestly think we're gonna have to wait. There's a good chance we're not getting a faction preview, which is a little bit sad. If we do get a faction preview, I'll make a video and we'll talk about it as soon as it happens. I'll be ready, but I don't know if we're gonna get one. I feel like there's enough time though, because they've got until June, right? And it's usually a 2-week pre-order window. So even if they did the pre-orders on the 1st of June, which is like 20 days from now, it'd still be 2 more weeks. So it's still like 34 days from now. If you exclude some of the weekends, say 10 days or weekends, there's still like 24 days then. So arguably they could do 24 more previews, right? So I don't know why they wouldn't do it. David says his niece loves Blackpool Zoo. I'm actually taking my kids to Edinburgh Zoo this summer. World Eater, Thousand Sons and Death Guards all have their own codexes, so they're a little different. Do you think they're all going to get? Do you think they're going to do a Thousand Sons and Death Guard one? And if so, why are Blood Angels not getting one? Why, Highland Phoenix? Tell me why. I don't know why I called you Highland Phoenix and DTM. I think it must be you guys must have similar disclaimers about your thoughts on rulings. Alright. I think these 4 Death Company are ready for edge highlighting. I don't think I can put it off any longer. She can make Miracle Dice a 6 within 6 inches. The 6-up invuln is actually listed on the Battle Sister datasheet. Was it actually listed on the datasheet? So they've still kept their army-wide 6-up invuln as far as we know, DTM. Okay, I thought they'd maybe lost that. Do you think they're still going to have Bloody Rose, or how do you think that's going to shake out for Sisters? Because, like, in one of the things that they said they were going to try and get away from, like, if we think of, like, 9th edition, it seemed like for Sisters, Bloody Rose was maybe it wasn't the only option, but it's the option that you felt everybody took against you, and it was the option that always got picked for the tournament play and stuff like that, right? I think it's a good thing that the Blood Angels Codex isn't coming out straight away. I think that means that it gives more chance that with the Blood Angels Codex we could possibly see some sort of range refresh, some new characters. The thing that interests me as well, Levi, if we're talking about like things that might be interesting, can Lamartes and Astaroth join Squads of Death Company, or how's that going to work, right? Because we know that they basically said like certain models are going to join squads or something now. So like, you're going to be able to take like one Death Company and have Lamartes join them, and you're going to be able to take like one Death Company and have Astaroth join them, or... That's kind of interesting to me. I guess the other big question mark, the $1 million question is, will we get a data sheet for Commander Tycho? Does anyone think we'll get a data sheet for Tycho? If they keep releasing one faction focus per day, Monday through Friday, then the last one released on the 9th of June, they'll have 28 factions to showcase. I think there's only 30 playable factions. I guess there's probably more if you filter in chapters, but I don't see... what about the nerf to Votann, says Ager? In a way, it's a nerf, 100%. But we don't know enough about the rest of Votann to categorically say Votann are now worse, I feel like. Because we're seeing like little snippets of rules. We're not seeing everything. We're not seeing points costs. We're not seeing all the stratagems. You know, we're not seeing how which characters can join what squads. So, although I agree that the auto wound, I think the auto wounding that Votann had before was a bit obnoxious, to be honest. So I think it is better, like +1 to hit from a judgment token, and like +1 to wound, or was it 1 to hit? I think it's, I don't remember exactly what it was, but something like that. +1 to wound, or +1 to hit and wound. I think it's better. I think it's more balanced, but I don't necessarily know if it's the giant nerf everybody wanted it to. Well, did everybody even want it to be? Like, I don't know if Votann were that bad, but I guess non-Votann players, maybe some people wanted Votann to be nerfed. I don't know. You gotta remember as well, Votann is going to likely get more models because the range isn't really complete, right? They only got they only have like 2 fast attack and 2 heavy support, right? They need like 2 more in every slot. So assuming they're going to get more models in every slot, how does that change things for Votann, right? I think that would maybe be more interesting than just Tycho's for sure Legends, maybe. Maris Tycho. Yeah, maybe they kept Tycho alive for reasons, and now we've got him. He's gone through the Rubicon. S-Fish. Hello, S-Fish. What can we do for you tonight? Guys, if anyone is enjoying tonight's stream, please remember to hit the like button on the stream. I actually have a new tactics video coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow, my tactics video is revolving around the best lists for both Blood Angels and Flesh Tearers at Warhammer Fest. Because there were some Blood Angels lists that did really well, there were some Flesh Tearers lists that did really well. So I've picked the 2 best ones. In terms of the best ones, I'm just taking the highest placing ones. And I've got like a 20-minute breakdown of those coming out tomorrow about 1 o'clock. So I know it's the end of the edition, and that potentially that data is all going to change, but I still think it's interesting to look at them. And I think it might give us some interesting ideas for 10th edition. Are Rhinos and Razorbacks back? I think Rhinos, maybe. Razorbacks to me sound more exciting, because Razorbacks typically can run double las cannons, right? And we know that you're going to kind of want or need las cannons, I feel like. If you want to deal with armor, you're going to want las cannons. So I think in terms of like, if you want cheap transports with las cannons on them, potentially Razorbacks are going to be good. The other question you could ask though is, like, an Impulsor going to be good? Because an Impulsor is probably going to have that firing deck rule, which means so many models with inside an Impulsor are going to be able to shoot out of it, right? So if you had an Impulsor, and let's say you put 3 Eliminators with las fusils in there, then potentially you've basically got 3 las fusel shots. I mean, maybe you could even fit 6. We don't know what the firing deck of an impulsor could be. The fire deck could be 6. So you could put a whole squad of devastators inside an impulsor and have them all shoot out from the top, kind of like what Dakari used to do with their bolts. We don't know what the toughness of an impulsor is yet, right? We've not seen that. I imagine it's probably going to be 9 or 10. I think probably 9, maybe 10 would be too much considering it's all open top. The only thing I can buy is a Predator or a Rhino, or I don't know. The thing is, if you buy the Razorback, you can just take the turret off and then it's a Rhino. Why is that the only 2 things you can buy? Like, the store you're going to literally only has those 2 models? Like I don't understand. Explain! Explain yourself! Okay, it's been a long time since I edge highlight Death Company. I gotta pull one guy over here to remind myself how we do this. I'll start with the jump pack. So this is why it takes me forever. This is why I don't edge highlight red guys. It takes me forever. I'll make a million mistakes here. I'll tidy it all up at the end. Yeah. The store you have, the store that sells Warhammer only has a Rhino or a Predator. You need to find a new store, dude, or just get online. There's a thing called the internet. It's revolutionary. You can buy models online. You should do it. The Gladiator chassis was toughness 10, so I'd assume the impulsor is 9. Yeah, probably the impulsor is going to be 9. Mass Prophet says that he has no motivation to paint. Dude, you don't need motivation. Did you ever watch the video I made about painting motivation and how motivation is bullshit, man? Because if you didn't watch it, you should watch it. Because motivation is an excuse to not do the thing, right? Like, give an example from my life, right? You guys didn't know me 10 years ago, but 10 years ago I was pretty fat. And one day I just decided I don't want to be fat anymore. So what I was going to do was every single weekend, like every weekend, not just like if it's nice weather, like every weekend, I am going hill walking, because hill walking was a thing that I like doing. It's exercise without, like, I hate running, like generally hate running. I hate cycling. I could probably name a bunch of other exercises that I hate doing. So I just said, I know I like hill walking, so every weekend I'm going hill walking. And I just started doing that every weekend. And I still do it every weekend, every Saturday, every Sunday morning. Maybe not every week I don't go up the biggest hills. Like some weeks I might just go like a coastal trail or something. In the winter I definitely don't go anywhere dangerous. So like, but I definitely do still walk like 4 or 5 miles every Saturday and Sunday morning. And it's just like, if I let motivation be part of that decision, there's a lot of times where I'd be like, oh man, it's really wet, it's shitty weather, it's cold, it's snowing, I'm not going to do this. But you just take motivation out of the equation and just be like, I hill walk on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, so you just get up and you just go do it. And then that's the exact precise thing I do for painting as well. Like, because if I let, you know, like, I was going to say, I don't know if I was in love with the idea today of like, hey, I just painted for 3 hours last night, but I'm going to paint Death Company again and get on to the friggin' edge highlighting, which I don't hate edge highlighting. I just find it very time consuming because I'm not good at it. And I'll go back and forth a bunch of times to make it look decent, and I know I'm not good at it, so it'll look really messy on stream. When you guys, like if you guys are watching this right now, probably looks really messy, so I don't feel confident doing it in front of other people. But I'm just gonna go do it, because like if I just don't do it, I'll just sit and procrastinate. And that's honestly how I would try and view it. Like, try and take motivation. If you're struggling with motivation to do hobby stuff, honestly try and take motivation out of the equation, because once you take it out of the equation and you just don't let it bother you, you'll get more done. Honest, like, promise you. I always hear people like Kev and that, like Brett and Kev will always say to me like, oh, I was tired last night, I'm not motivated. And I was like, yeah, I was tired too, but I just fucking sat down and got my paints out, because it's the one night a week I can paint, because I don't, like, my wife's happy to look after the kids, so I don't have the luxury of being lazy. I don't want to bust your balls, man, I really don't. But like, if that doesn't work for you, fine. You can, I'm happy for you to say, John, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, that doesn't work for me. But I'm telling you, I guess if you get in the mindset of like, this is what you're going to do, and you're just going to do it, and you don't care. Because I think like a year ago, I just wouldn't edge highlight on stream, because I was like, I know I'm not good at it. Everybody in chat will tell me I'm doing it wrong. Look, someone's told me I'm doing it wrong. No side of the brush, says John. No, I do quite thick lines, John, so I just paint them quite thick. Here's one that I did earlier. So you could use the side of the brush, I guess, and be more accurate. I'm not doing it that way. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a good painter. I just do it the way I've always done it, the way it matches all my other guys. I started my army when I was like super young, when I was like 12 or 13. There was no internet. So I didn't have the luxury of like watching internet painting tutorials on how to be a good painter. I just had to get on and do it. So this is the way I do it. And yeah, I try never let motivation decide whether or not I do something in my life, because I feel like motivation is fleeting, and if I want to do something, I just do it. I love going to the gym, so that's the opposite. I take that motivation stance for the gym. Yeah, so why don't you take it for your paint? You've proved you can do it. You just have to put in the time. Yeah, I mean, so I guess do it whichever way works for you. I guess this is the way that works for me, is like, I just try and just get on with stuff and not give myself an excuse to not do it, because if I give myself an excuse to not do it, I just won't do it. Anyways, Jim says, I hope Predators are good. I really want to run them along with my Ball Predators and not feel like I'm handicapping myself. It's weird, Predators have been bad for so long, haven't they? And I remember in 8th edition they gave them that stratagem where it was like, if you had 3 Predators, you could do like a kill shot, I think it was called, that made them slightly better, but it was like nobody in Blood Angels ever ran 3 Predators in 8th edition. If you did, you were probably just like a new player starting out. You didn't really know what you were doing, so yeah, it's a strange one. We definitely haven't had a reason to run Predators for a long time. I would like to run Predators as well. I think I have 5 of them. But I think the Ball Predator is the one that interests me most, because I love the Ball Predator in that, like, it's the Blood Angel specific one. I'm just not sure if they, you know, like, the way I see 10th edition, I feel like it's going to be armor against armor and troops against troops to a certain extent. So like, I don't know if the Bile Predator is going to be as useful, but I feel like maybe what you're going to end up with is, like, the Bile Predator is obviously good at killing infantry, not so good at killing armor, and you're going to maybe want your armor to kill other armor as opposed to kill infantry. So that's going to be the interesting part, I guess, right? I prefer this to some heavily edited painting tutorial. I think they look great. John, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what yeah, for me it's just, I'm very particular about things, and I want things to match. And if I decided 20 years ago this was the way I paint Death Company, whether or not it was the right way, like, there wasn't the internet. There was the internet, but there was no painting tutorial. I don't know if you remember those painting tutorials they used to give you from Games Workshop, that they were like, they basically had like 5 steps on them, where it was like, undercoat the model, paint this one color, paint this other color. And also, if you go back, like, I don't know, even if you go back like just 10 years or something, when you remember when they used to put all the colors that you needed to paint the models on the back of the box, and they put so many colors, like, you know, like my entire army, like, and I have a lot of models, every piece of gold across every model, and like, I'm talking like 12,000 points of models or something, every piece of gold is Retributor armor gold. I don't highlight with a second gold, it's all just Retributor armor. But like, you go to the back of the box and it was like, you need Retributor armor gold, and you need Auric gold, and you need some other random gold that I've never even bought that I don't know how to pronounce. But like, those old boxes had so many colors on the back of them. Like, that shit was scary. Like, well, it did make you buy all those colors, but it also made you a bit scared. And it was like, how am I going to paint this guy with all these, like, why do I need like 4 different golds? I don't even know which gold I should be using in the first place. So I guess I just picked one and just rolled with it. And then that's how my things look. And I suppose the one difference is, most of the people doing painting on YouTube are trying to do really high quality painting to get views. My channel doesn't get views from painting. My channel gets views from people wanting to hang out and talk Blood Angels, and people talking tactics from Blood Angels. If you're here for my painting, you're probably in the wrong place. But if you just want to chill, by all means, please do that. Daryl says, surely they make Predators and Rhinos good again. That stopped people buying the new vehicles. Yeah, it does make me think sometimes. Like, there is a question mark there. It's like, surely they do want to sell all the old vehicles. Like, they've already made them. They've already spent time and effort developing, like, the chassis and everything. So, like, if they stop selling the old vehicles, then they essentially cut off some of their revenue. So why would they not want the old vehicles to be good? That's why I'm really thinking this new, like, upscaled Firstborn Terminator thing is a really good change of direction. Because, like, before these new Terminators came out, we were kind of the opinion that, like, everything new was going to be Primaris, and Firstborn aren't dead, but everything that was going to be Firstborn is going to be replaced, right? So now that we know that they're willing to, like, upscale a classic kit, but keep potentially the classic rules, I think this is going to be the best of both worlds for, hopefully, for both Games Workshop and for the consumer, right? Evening, Anton, how are you? Do you think there'll be a new Blood Angels combat patrol? Well, this is a tough question, actually, because they said that all the combat patrols were being balanced against each other, right? Like, they said that, and obviously everybody has a combat patrol. I think we're more likely to get a Blood Angels range refresh at some point. I think if we were going to see it, it would be like 2024. Honestly, like it's not going to be quick. So I think we might see a Blood Angels refresh like 2024. Would we see a new combat patrol? Maybe. But I don't know if we necessarily need a new combat patrol right now. I mean, the Blood Angels Combat Patrol isn't a great box. Like, I wouldn't advise you buy it if you're starting Blood Angels. Like, it's definitely not my favourite kit. I was going to say, there's nothing wrong with the kit. It's just the combination of units that it comes with isn't brilliant. Like, I don't see how you make an army with a ton of synergy with the Blood Angels Combat Patrol. John's currently doing the gold armor on Gilliman. He's a little sick of Retributor armor, so maybe you need a bunch of more golds. Anton does Retributor gold wash, Retributor gold, Auric armor gold, Stormhole silver. Yeah, I mean, you guys are. So the painting competition on the channel is ending this week, right? Like the final entries have to be in. When do the final entries have to be in? They have to be in. Use your words, John. The final entries have to be in tomorrow, end of day tomorrow. Someone asked me already, they were like, can I submit them at the end of the US day, or does it have to be the end of the UK day? It'll just be basically like, if they're submitted by Saturday morning, my time, that will be fine. And that will mean, so basically you can submit them at midnight Pacific time in America, and they'll still be accepted. Because I'll be asleep anyway. So as long as they're there for like me waking up on Saturday morning, I usually get up about 8 or 9 on the weekend, which is like midnight Pacific time. So as long as it's submitted by midnight on Pacific time on tomorrow night, then you'll be accepted for the painting competition. And like, I was gonna say, like, even if I did a secret entry to the painting competition, it would be pointless for me, because you guys are. Most of the people that will enter will be better painters than I am. I might, depending on what the entries look like in a future year, I might do like a battle ready award as well, so that like people like at my standard can get involved. Because like I feel like I could do an okay battle ready model, but I can't do like a golden demon winning model. I can't even get close to that. But I've been painting, like, I've been back in the hobby now 5 years, and if I remember where I was 5 years ago, I feel like I'm a lot better. You guys are probably laughing at me. I am better than I was. Will there be a battle box at Christmas? I mean, there's usually a battle box, but I don't think there was a Blood Angels battle box last year. If we haven't had a range refresh, then I doubt they'll do a Blood Angels battle box. I think last year's battle box was Imperial Fists, was it not? I think this entire new combat patrol thing they're doing is just silly, to be honest, but it's not aimed at me. Yeah, I mean, they do this every edition, DTM. Like, they want new people to enter the hobby, so they always have something to do with, like, hey, here's an easy way to start the hobby, etc, etc, etc. It's not aimed at us, it's not aimed at existing players. It's just something they always do. I don't love it either. We might get some jump pack units with the Space Marine Codex. I think that if we're going to get jump pack units, I kind of think that they would have been in that starter box, honestly, or the Leviathan box. It seems very strange. I'd really have hoped for like some jump units by now. Because people have been asking me forever. They're like, when do you think we'll get Blood Angels jump units? And I was like, I thought we were going to get them in 8th edition, let alone 9th edition, now let alone 10th edition. Would a hover tank not fly backwards when it fires its cannon? I mean, there would be velocity pushed against it backwards, I think, when it fires its cannon. That you would be correct, but would it be enough velocity to make it move backwards? I don't know if they have inertial dampeners, because that's what they always say in Star Trek. They have inertial dampeners, because I guess if they go to warp or something and then the ship suddenly slows down, everyone would be splatted on the windscreen. Kind of like Spaceballs. You remember Spaceballs? When he's like, ludicrous speed. Yeah, I mean, if the cannon shot, it would produce a backwards force, but I guess the engines would be designed to compensate for that force, right? That would be an interesting mechanic, though. Every time your hover tank shoots, it has to move backwards 1 inch. Or every time it shoots its main cannon, it has to move backwards 1 inch. Yeah, I don't know if they would put that in the game. Looking forward to some entries. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I noticed, I checked my email the other day just to make sure all the entries were coming through. And there was like there was at least 12 entries for the painting competition. So there'll be, if last year's anything to go by, well, there'll be some really good high-level Blood Angels painting stuff. I hope we see a couple of Dantes entered as well. I think we probably will. Because I haven't done my Dante yet. Obviously, I don't have my Dante yet. That's another story. But I do hope we see a couple of Dantes. Maybe we'll see some old Dantes as well as the new Dantes. Who knows, huh? Maybe someone was desperate to finish their old Dante. So yeah, what I need to do then is, like, in the next week or so, I'll probably correlate all the painting entries together, put them into like a spreadsheet or probably a PowerPoint or something, and then I need to find like a guest judge or something. So if anyone knows any big YouTubers that want to guest judge my painting competition, get them to reach out to me. Otherwise, I guess we will judge it with some people from the community that you guys maybe already know. Kind of hoped that I could have got a guest judge. I reached out to a couple of people, but I think I think my channel's still too small. I think it would have helped if I'd been to Warhammer Fest and maybe met some of the other content creators. I do want to get to Warhammer Fest. Just like where I am right now with the kids, it's too difficult for me to leave the wife for like a protracted period of time. Because like, you know, me and my wife tag team our kids. The kids aren't the easiest, and like, you know, I think if I can't get to Warhammer Fest next year because the kids are still being super difficult, I feel like I'm just gonna say to my wife, like, I have to go the year after that. But I'm gonna see what the kids are like at the beginning of next year or 6 months time, right, and see if it's like, I think it'll be about 6 months, because you normally put Warhammer Fest tickets on a while before, right? I think Boarding Actions is a better 500 point game, says Nathan. I am excited to play Boarding Actions. We're going to get it on the channel very soon. Mike has been painting my commission of it for like a month now. So we've got the whole terrain commission. I was speaking to Kevin Brett. I was like, should we buy a smoke machine to try and like make our battle reports for Boarding Actions a little bit more atmospheric and like pump some smoke into the battle report? What will probably happen is we'll probably end up setting off the fire alarm in the building or something. But we are considering getting a smoke machine for our Boarding Action battle reports, so we can like pump smoke down the corridors and try and take some atmospheric shots. I think it would be fun to do. Whether or not we'll do it justice, I guess that's a whole other question. But we might do it. We think it might be quite fun. We'll see. You need take some photos of your entry tomorrow, Anton. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it, Anton. That'll be cool. I think probably the way we'll do it is a bit like Golden Demon, where they like pick a few finalists and then... I'm not really trying to remember how we did it last time round. I think we picked some finalists. And then I guess we just got to pick between the last few. Pandaman Pete says, still deciding I want my Dante full gold or put some reds and blacks on somewhere. I think... Well, I mean, he's your Dante, so I guess I was going to say you better pick. But I think loads of people have done slightly different Dantes. More than I expected, actually. I don't know why there has been more Dantes, but like a lot more people have done customized jobs on Dante than just the standard gold. I'm tempted to put a set of wings on Dante. And some people tell me like, hey, Dante doesn't have wings, but my army, my rules, right? So I'm pretty tempted to put a set of wings on him. I've got a spare set of the Sanguinor wings, because I used the Sanguinor model to make a Smash Captain at one point. So I am kind of tempted to use a spare set of wings. It would depend on if they look good, I suppose. I think Sanguinary Guard wings might be too small, but maybe the Sanguinor wings would be just a bit of a better size. Tom says we need to get some pop and smoke in there. Ah, Tom, thank you so much for the $4.99. I appreciate it. Yeah, smoke. You think a smoke machine would do it? I'm convinced we're gonna set off the fire alarm if we buy a smoke machine. But yeah, I think we might do it. I want the boarding action battle reports to feel completely different to the stuff we've done on the channel so far. And we'll make sure that like Andrew can't bring any of his grey armies into boarding actions. Like they have to be painted to good quality or they're not coming on. Yeah, I saw Death Company Dante that was super cool. The only colour I've not seen Dante done, and I like, it's weird. We've seen a lot of black Dantes, we've seen a few red Dantes, we've seen, obviously we've seen a bunch of gold Dantes, but I thought we might see a white one. Like I often see someone doing like a successor chapter that's in white for Blood Angels, but I suppose maybe the reason we haven't seen a white Dante is because it wouldn't, like Dante typically wouldn't join successor chapters, so maybe you're not painting your Dante white. But I thought a white one might look quite cool, with like red wings or something. But yeah, I guess we haven't seen a white Dante. Maybe in an ideal world one day, when I finally actually get Dante, maybe I'll do mine gold, and then maybe we can come back a year later and do another one white or something. I think white could look quite striking. I really do. You saw white Dante, Nathan? Where about? Like I've been on Reddit a few times. Like the Blood Angels Reddit, the Blood Angels Reddit for this last month has been like people posting pictures of Dante. There's been nothing else. I mean, I still occasionally post my battle report videos up or something, but it's just been like, here's a Dante, and here's another Dante, and here's another Dante, and guess what? Here's another Dante. I get it. It's fine. But it has been very, very Dante orientated on Reddit for Blood Angels. I think I'm going to put wings on Mephiston for Wings of Sanguinius. I wonder if Wings of Sanguinius will still be with Mephiston in 10th edition. Like, will he still have the wings? The wings are pretty, like, I was going to say they're pretty lowry, as in, like, what I mean by that is, I don't think that's a word, lowry, but what I mean by pretty lowry is, in the books, he does typically fly around a bit using Wings of Sanguinius, right? So because he's flying around a bit in the books, then I think there's a good chance that he will keep wings on his datasheet, right? Because it'd be a bit strange if, like, Mephiston's always flying around in the books, zapping people with his psychic powers, but in the game he can't fly around at all. So I think that Mephiston might keep Wings of Sanguinius as one of his main powers. Which will be cool, because Mephiston gets a lot better from his maneuverability, and if they make his maneuverability a little bit more reliable, I can only see that. Oh shit! Oh, sorry for the swear. Did I break anything? That sounded worse than it was. I think he just fell off the painting handle. Ah! Just bash him into the keyboard, why don't I? I'm sure there's going to be a chip bit of paint somewhere, I just didn't see it straight away. Completely off topic, let's pivot for 1 second. I've got a Bone White successor chapter, says Dwayne. Are you getting Dante then? You're making him white? A marble statue on Dante sounds cool. That does actually sound pretty cool. I kind of wanted to see like a different like a really cool tactical rock, because obviously he's on a tactical rock. I think I saw one tactical rock that looked really unique and different, but I thought we'd maybe see some more as well. Yeah, sorry, completely off topic. I was on my TV just before I came on stream. Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp. No, not Ant-Man and the Wasp, sorry. The new Ant-Man movie, the third one, Quantumania, is coming to Disney Plus next week. I thought I'd just tell you because I basically never get babysitting. So me and my wife never get to the movies anymore, because since we've had our second kid, because our parents and our grandparents can't cope with handling the two kids. So I've been waiting for Quantumania for like 6. Everyone's seen it. Everyone in chat's seen it. I'm the only person that's not seen it, probably. But yeah, no, it's out on Disney Plus like next week. They said the 17th. So maybe the one other person in chat that hasn't seen it that wants to see. I like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. The problem with putting wings on your MFB model is rolling a 5. Yeah. Well, who knows how his new ability is going to work. Maybe you'll be automatically able to cast wings. If Games Workshop have been listening to feedback, they'll know that Blood Angels players have been complaining for a whole edition about how unreliable Mephiston is, when he's god tier in the books, and he's terrible he was terrible on the tabletop. That's where he was the whole of 9th edition. And if we go back a few editions, Mephiston actually had a better, he had a better plasma pistol, right? He had a master crafted plasma pistol. When his plasma pistol was master crafted, it wasn't +1 damage. It was the super old rules where plasma pistols had to cool down for a turn after you shoot them. Panda Pete's gonna watch it when it comes to Disney Plus. Cool, me and you, Panda Pete, we'll watch it. I'm excited. I feel really sad that I always see all this new shit ages after everybody else. But that's fine. Ref Pavia says, "Hey team, you think captains will move to 40mm with 10th edition, or do you think they'll keep the firstborn characters on 32? I want to know which base I should paint my captain on." It's a very good question. Have you seen the base extenders that I've used on this channel before, Raf? Because if I was you, I would make them on the smaller base and buy yourself some base extenders, because the base extenders, they're hot shit, man, honestly. They're so easy to use. I'll show you how easy they are to use in just 2 seconds, right? Because I know I've got a bag of them just off screen, so I'll use this paint that's on my palette for this little bit of edge highlighting, and then I'll get one and I'll show you. As far as what size bases they're going to be on, typically they've always said you can use the models on the base that they come with. So that's why some people kept their firstborn characters on 25mm bases, because that's what they were coming with. But if they do change stuff like that, they can say oh, but now you can put them on 32s or whatever. But if it was on 32s, I'd probably make it on a 32 and then get some of these base extenders off eBay. I'll show you them, they're awesome. They're cheap as well. I've bought 100 of them, and I've rebased a bunch of stuff using them. Like an absolute load of stuff I've used the base extenders for. Um, Alright, let me get one of these basic centers to show you. Crappy Mephiston is the main reason that I backed off Blood Angels sellers. I can't believe you said that. Alright, check this out. These are your no-effort base extenders, right? This is what they're called on eBay. This is a studio that sells them. Winterdyne. And look, I've got them in. These are 32s to 40s. These are 25s to 40s. These are 25s to 32s. So, like, here's a guy on a 32mm base, or 25mm base, right? You literally grab the base extender and you go, that's a minute. Simple as that. Right, you don't want a minute anymore? There you go. So that's a 25 to 32. Here's one that I did earlier. This guy's been glued. So obviously the base extender is glued down. I think in this trim here that it makes, you can fill that with green stuff. Then you can just base over the top of it. You probably wouldn't even know he's on the base extender. In fact, one of these Death Company models, this one right here, this one is actually on a base extender. So look, you can see he's an old Death Company model. He is on a base extender. So I filled in the base, the trim, green stuff over it, put the texture paint in. So you put him next to someone that's not on a base extender, that's the difference. I mean, you can tell, but I mean, it's so easy. And the fact that they do them in all sorts of sizes. So, you know, like if this guy was a Terminator, it's a 25 up to 40. There you go. Take him off, and then I guess I actually don't know if you can put the base extender upon base extender. Someone was joking with me saying that I might need to do that. Let's try that. So this is a 32. I was gonna say, will he fit in? Yeah, I mean he will fit. There you go, so there's a base extender into 40. And then you can just clip him back out. Here's a regular guy into 32. Job's done. I love these things. Anytime I have to rebase models or change the size, I just buy, like, I guess that's why I've got like 3 different bags here with like, they're about $3 or $4 for each bag. And I think you get like 5 or 10 of them. So I just try and make sure I always have some, so I can jump from bases to base size if I need to. What colour am I using for edge highlighting the Death Company? It's Penrisian Grey. You paint them and glue them on the smaller base? Yeah, I mean, and then just go on eBay and get some base extenders. I think they're handy to have as well because I don't know if you remember, Terminators used to be on 25mm bases. Like, metal shooting Terminators. I think I might have some of them actually done. Yeah, okay, look. Here's a Terminator that's on a proper 40mm base. Here's a metal Terminator that was on a 25mm base. So, I mean, they're the same. So it just, yeah, I mean, you could see this guy's. So the new Terminators are going to make this guy far left look very small, I guess. But I mean, he works. He's on the right size base. It's not. I mean, you can see that he was on a base extender as well. But I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. I think if people are looking at your models and going, "Oh, look, he was on a base extender," I think you've got a problem. Blue tack them onto the base until 10th edition drops as DTM. I mean, you could do that as well, yeah. That would be cheaper than the base extender solution, but the base extender solution is really cheap. They are not expensive at all. Did someone not like my base extenders? Is that why I left the stream? Oh no, I left the stream because of the Mephiston jibe. Yeah, how dare you jibe on Mephiston sellers? How dare you? Let's hope. Levi came in with a super chat earlier asking, like, what are we excited to see? I want to see Mephiston's profile. Come on, Games Workshop. Let's see Mephiston. Let's. If we can't get a full faction focus, let's get one character at least. Let's see what Mephiston can do. Now you see why I didn't want to. I don't often edge highlight models because I'm bad at it, and also why I don't do it on stream because I'm bad at it. I'll make it look good. It'll just take me a long time to go back over it with black and clean up all the little mistakes and blemishes. Double extend them. Good stuff with those base extenders. I was already dreading rebasing my entire old world army. Oh yeah, because are old world going from... Were they on square bases? Are they going to circles? Extenderception. Can you technically run the OG cardboard Death Dread? If you have the cardboard Dread from the 2nd edition box, yes, you can technically run it. Andrew actually wanted to try and get 3 of them and run them to GT. Just to basically fuck with people, but yeah, I don't think many people have the cardboard Death Dread anymore. Yeah, no, I think what had happened was I had a ton of old metal Terminators, like a ton of them, like 15 or 20 of them, and I also had a ton of old Death Company from 2nd edition that were on 25s, and obviously I'd bought new Death Company that were on 30s. And I was like, I really don't want to. I feel like I'll do, like, because they were already based and stuff. I was thinking to myself, I was like, I will probably do a lot of damage to these models trying to get them off the base. There's got to be a better solution. And one of the solutions somebody had said to me was like, just get the bigger bases and just glue the whole model to the bigger bases and then like retexture paint it. And that was kind of where I'd landed. I was like, right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just get bigger bases. I'm going to stick the old models in the center of the bases and just take it from there. The tournament organizer, yeah, I suppose your TO could say that your cardboard dreadnought isn't legal, yes. And then you'd be very sad. But, yeah, no, I kind of said to myself that that's what I was going to do. And then I don't even remember where I found out about those base extenders. I think I was just Googling, and then I found that guy's eBay store. I was like, oh shit, there's a guy on eBay that just does base extenders, and I didn't realize that they were quite so like snap fit. So like if you just wanted to buy 10 base extenders and never glue them in, and you're just quite happy to snap fit them on, you could do that, and you would, you could swap squad to squad, like if you had 2 squads that were on 25s and you're like, well, this week I want that squad to be playable, so you could just pop them all out of the base extenders. And it's a way of doing it without a lot of effort and without like a lot of money, I guess. So yeah, I've recommended that guy's store a bunch of times now because like his base extenders just seem really usable, and I do glue mine in, but you you definitely do not have to do that. Alright guys, it's coming up on 11:30 here, so I just got a few more minutes tonight. So if there's any final like 10th edition questions, or any questions I guess, hit me with them in the next couple of minutes, because if not, then I probably aren't going to see you guys until Sunday. I got a new tactics video coming out tomorrow, but Saturday is most likely going to not be a stream this week. It'll be the first Saturday I've missed in a while actually, but yeah. The old world is going from 20mm squared to 25, but still squared. Oh really? Okay, it's still squared. Interesting. I didn't realise it was going to stay squared. You'll probably be able to find those base extenders then for squared. I imagine they just exist on eBay. I think it's cool that they're bringing back the Tomb Kings, because Tomb Kings? I used to play Warhammer Online like way ages ago. Like, is this like 2000 and God, it was ages ago, Warhammer Online. But like, I played Warhammer Online quite a bit, and I played a warrior priest in that game, which was a pretty fun class actually. But in Warhammer Online, they had a Tomb Kings expansion. Don't remember what the expansion was called actually. But I did play that game a lot actually. One of the first ever videos I made for YouTube was me doing the final dungeon of Warhammer Online. I think it was called Lost Vale, with my warrior priest. I made like a guide on like how to beat Lost Vale with the warrior priest, or with a dungeon group or something. It's like one of the first ever YouTube videos I made. I like Warhammer Online. Sad that they closed it down. EA do that though. I read today that I don't play Apex Legends. I have played Apex Legends, but I don't play it. And I definitely didn't play the mobile version of Apex Legends, but EA put out a mobile version of Apex Legends, which was like their 6th biggest grossing game of, I guess, like of the EA portfolio. So like, as a giant game, it's grossing like a lot of money. I think it said it grossed like 100 million in the first like 60 or 90 days, and then it was like, and then EA shut it down. I'm like, holy shit, Electronic Arts are crazy, man. Like, they're absolutely crazy. Like, unless you make a game, if you were a games company or a game developer that worked for Electronic Arts, you can make a game that makes $1 million in like, sorry, $100 million in 3 months, and like, yeah, we're shutting you down. It's like, okay, cool, I guess. It's crazy. I don't think it's been asked. What do you think looks the strongest faction preview so far? It hasn't been asked. Strongest one so far? That's a good question. I actually kind of like the Marine one with Gilliman. Would that be bad to say? I think the Marine one with Gilliman was looking like it was potentially going to be really strong. What do other people think? Anton says he thinks it would be Marines or Chaos. Demons look powerful again, says Maverick. I'm pretty sure characters will benefit from their own auras. Do you think so? You think that's going to return? Because I thought the thing that was making Gilliman look weaker was like he wasn't going to get his hits. Like, because in the current edition, Gilliman can reroll all his hits, right? I assumed that he was going to lose that, because he's got more attacks now. But you know, I think 2 ways to fight on death for Space Marines is going to be pretty interesting. And also, I suppose it really just depends on what units you can take in that new detachment, the Gladiators detachment, because everything I've heard about that detachment looks strong. Which is good. I'm going to be happy if the default Marine detachment is really good. Like, I'm going to be really happy about that, to be honest. 2 Oaths of Moments per turn with Guilliman sounds tasty. You're going to have 2 Oaths of Moments. You're going to potentially be able to fight on death twice. You're going to get... what's the other thing you could do? You're going to get to use a second CP for, like... Sorry, second stratagem for 0 CP. Yeah, and Guilliman's sword is no joke now. Like, 14 attacks at strength 8 with every 6 doing 2 mortals. Like, Guilliman could do, realistically, like, 15 mortals, possibly, without too much, you know, like, without a roll being too swingy, he could easily do, like, 15 mortal wounds. Which is nuts. I really hope Dante gets a good amount of love this edition, you know that? I want Dante to be a monster. Uh, 10th edition Bobby G has no reroll auras, so it's not an issue. Oh yeah, he doesn't have any reroll auras, but he is getting double the number of attacks. But the thing about... Yes, he has no reroll auras, but he could also be attacking your Oath of Moment target, and then he's got full rerolls to hit and wound. 14 attacks, full rerolls to hit and wound, and 6s do 2 mortals. Highland Phoenix. Keep calling you Highland Phoenix. Why? DTM. Must be tired, man. It's weird because someone at work actually asked me today, was like, are you tired? And I was like, well, I am tired today, but I don't know why, because I don't remember my kid waking me up last night. Whereas like some nights I do totally remember the kid wakes me up at like 5 AM and I'm like, please go back to sleep because I've got to get up for work in like an hour. Please can I have 1 more hour of sleep, you know? And then it's like the nights that you don't remember getting woken up, you're like, oh my god, I'm so tired, what's going on? Alright, I am going to take off. This guy has been given a very early pass of edge highlighting. I probably want to come back in on this guy now with the black paint and tidy up all these nasty lines. That's probably what I'll be painting next. I was thinking to myself, I'll be doing that on Saturday, but I don't think I'll be here on Saturday, so I'll try and put a community post up or a Discord post up about like what the weekend stream schedule looks like when I know it. But yeah, I think you can assume that I'm not going to be here on Saturday. There might be something on Sunday this week. It might be a live battle, or it might be Monday. I'll try and post as soon as I know. There's a lot of moving parts going on in my life this weekend. Thank you to everybody that was here tonight. Please hit the like button before you leave the stream. Thank you for the super chats as always. Thank you for the gifted subs. It's appreciated. Fingers crossed that Dante is strong, so is Mephistonia, let's hope. With the terrain change, I don't agree with having a melee army that literally can't be targeted beyond 18 inches away. Sounds broken. Who can not be targeted? Bellicor. Oh right, okay. Yeah, Be'lakor was strong last edition. I assumed he was going to be pretty strong again. Be'lakor will be a fun one for us to learn on how to fight, won't he? Are you getting off soon? Yeah, in like 1 minute. You got any questions, fighter? CM, can I help you with? I got a new tactics video coming out on the channel tomorrow around 1 PM UK time. And I do try and answer every comment that you guys put on the channel, so if I'm ever not live, you can leave a comment. I will see it. I will do my best to reply to it. I usually reply to every comment that I get. Just maybe not always in the most timely manner, but I do reply to a lot of comments. Yeah, it's been 2 nights. I've done a lot of painting these last 2 nights. I've got some real progress on the Squad of Death Company with hammers, like real progress. It's just a case of doing the edge highlighting on these 3 guys, tidying up this guy, and then doing some washes maybe. And I'm not gonna go much further with these guys, honestly. They're definitely battle ready. Battle ready is what I always. I was gonna say, battle ready is what I aim for. Why is the gear on the Baal free? The Hunter Killer Missile for the first time now. Lol. I think they missed you know when they did those changes in Arts of Omen, when they made everything, all the war gear for Space Marines free, essentially. They missed a few important things and they haven't retconned them. One of the things they missed was like the Hunter Killer Missile and the Baal is free. For everybody, for all the other tanks it costs like 5 points. And then one of the other things they missed was multi-meltas cost like 10 points on everybody except Sternguard veterans. For some reason, multi-meltas and Sternguard veterans cost no points. So on my tournament list, I was running Vals with Hunter Killer Missiles and Sternguard veterans with multi-meltas, because why would you not take free multi-meltas? So I actually kind of built a list around using like free shit that they missed. It was all like, I think they missed it because when they made the Inceptor's plasmas cheaper, they sort of retconned that super quickly, didn't they? So, yeah, he lost all his annoying abilities. Some of his annoying abilities were obnoxious, so I'm happy that they changed that. I think this new edition is going to be a lot more balanced, guys. I honestly think it's going to be more balanced. So, yeah, I'm going to have to take off and wash my brushes and head to bed. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Please like the stream if you did enjoy it. New tactics video tomorrow. I was going to say like 13 hours from now, so make sure you tune into the channel tomorrow. And remember, if you are submitting an entry to this year's painting competition, end of day tomorrow is the deadline, really. If you don't submit it by end of day tomorrow, there's a chance it will get missed. So yeah, we'll say end of day American time, so like what, 24 hours plus 8 hours from now. Tips on fighting Astra Militarum. That's a pretty broad tip. I do have some battle reports against Astra Militarum that were on the channel not too long ago, so maybe you could check that battle report out. I think the key thing is probably going to be to obscure stuff and then take out their hardest hitting tanks, or find your windows of opportunities. It's quite a broad question. But yeah, have a look for the battle report I did. I definitely fought like after the new codex came out, I fought like a list that had like Rough Riders and the Lehman Russ and a bunch of other tanks and a bunch of the... Is it the Karskim? The Karskim with the stupid mortal wound stratagem? How to win against Desolation Marines. Build your Desolation Marines, Anton. That's how you win against them. You have Desolation Marines as well. I'm gonna build my Desolation Marines soonish, I think. I'm gonna build my new Dreadnoughts, the Desolation Marines. I gotta go because otherwise I'll be tired and I'll be crabby at work tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys soon.